Welcome guys, Jermaine here with another video. Today we will be going over some character bios released by NRS, and I will be sharing my thoughts on the new characters revealed from last week's Banished trailer. These characters include Reptile, Havik, and Ashrah. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. First, we are going to begin with Reptile. I must say, looking at this design, he looks really fantastic. One major thing that we saw from the trailers was the duality that they have given to him, him being both man and reptile. For a long time, people have been asking for human reptile, and finally, NetherRealm Studios listened to us, and they gave us the best of both worlds, actually. So in the gameplay, we could see that during certain combo strings, he changes into his reptilian form. In his fatality, he was in his reptilian form, and in some of his intros, he's also in his reptilian form. And I think that's amazing. That's a very nice touch to it. I also love this new outfit that he has. I'm guessing this will be his base outfit. And one major detail that I liked was during the trailer, you could see that this loin cloth that he had over here, the one behind him, it turned into his tail. And as you can see from the textures on the fabric, it's very scaly, signifying him being a reptile. And I think I like all these details, and also the tattoos, which is very prevalent in all the character trailers we've seen and all the character, renders that we've seen. We've seen that tattoos are very common, and I think that will be a customization option when the full game drops. So now let's get to his bio. Reptile, the Zaterian slave. Reptile is Zateran, one of the reptiloid races which lives on outward fringes. Like other reptiles, Zaterans can camouflage themselves, but Reptile possesses a unique mutation, one which allows him to shift shape to appear human. Bullied mercilessly by Zaterans, for this ability, Reptile left home to make his future elsewhere. This is very short and brief, straight to the point, but I like it. It gives us a very rough view of who he is. And from what we saw in the trailer, it's like he's a part of the good guys. Now, we don't know if he's going to remain a good guy throughout everything, because one thing I've also noticed with all the reviews that we've had is everybody seems to be their own hero. Everyone has this whole hero's journey, their own story. But I guess throughout the story, we are going to see them change, and at the end, we are going to see who they really are in this new timeline. So from what we've read, we've seen that Reptile, he seems to be a slave. So I'm guessing he belongs to the lower caste of his race. And from him having the mutation to appear human, that I find very intriguing, because it made a lot of sense, with the previous iterations of Reptile, where he's a human who sort of has this corrupted DNA or something, and he appears reptilian, with some of the iterations we've seen from previous NetherRealm Studios games. But this time around, it seems that they are reptiloid. His true form is the reptile, and he has the mutation that makes him appear human. And I find that very, very, very intriguing. So let's move on. Let's move on to the next character. We have Havik. Now with Havik, I'm also really excited for him. I never played the 3D era games, so I'm not really used to him. I'm not really, familiar with his character. But from what we saw in the gameplay, with his unique ability to tear off limbs of his body and use as weapons, and throughout his combo strings and his special move, you see his body deteriorate. You see parts of his body split from other parts of his body. I like this whole body horror imagery that is given to him. and it makes sense with his story. So let's go to his bio. Havik, the rebellious anarchist. A citizen of the realm of Saido, Havik is sworn to take down its oppressive regime and free his people. There, order is prized above all else. Law-breaking is met with strict punishment. Its citizens live in strictly regulated castes, or castes, in this case, castes. As a member of Saido's lowest caste, Havik had neither rights nor privileges. He seethed with anger at the injustice when he is brutally punished for a minor crime. Havik finally decides to act. He sets out to destroy Saido's regime and replace it with an anarchist utopia. Once he breaks Saido's social order, Havik will free its citizens. Together, they will live in blessed anarchy. That is an amazing bio over there. And that just tells us a little bit about who he is. Now, from what I have read online from people who play the 3D games, it seems this is just about who he was. But it seems in the previous games he was a prince of Chaos Realm. But in this one, he seems to be from Other Realm, which is Saido. The realm of Saido seems to be Other Realm. So my guess is he's trying to turn Other Realm, which in this case is Saido, into Chaos Realm. And I like I said earlier, that in this game, every character that may seem villainous is somewhat given their own sort of hero's journey. So from what it seems over here, he seems to be part of the lowest caste of people. You know, they are neglected, no rights, no privileges. And it turns out he did something minor. Maybe he stole to, I don't know, feed his family or something. But being in a realm called Other Realm, it seems such little petty crimes are very intolerable. And he's punished severely for something so minor. So with whatever magic he has, he decides and he sets on the journey to bring chaos to Other Realm. And I find that very interesting. You know, in his own right and in his own story, he is the hero of his journey. And I love that. Also, one thing I also find very peculiar is in the game, we saw him rip his limbs from his body and use them as weapons. And this particular arm he used as a weapon, I think in his fatal blow and in some air combo strings. And I find it interesting that when he regenerates with the armor on. And that is very peculiar. Maybe there'll be an explanation for it. They might show us how he gets this ability and this magic to be able to do what he's doing. And I look forward to that. He seems very interesting. I don't know if I might play him. He doesn't seem like my kind of player, but we shall see. Next up is Ashrah. Okay, Ashrah, repentant Netherrealm demon. As a demon, all Ashrah knew was pain and violence. She assumed all beings in all realms lived as she did. But once she journeyed outside of Netherrealm, she realized her error. Other realms were places of beauty and peace. She could not aid in their defilement. Ashrah fled from her sister demons. Along the way, she found an enchanted Chris, which is this weapon. It was a demon slayer, which she used to finish her pursuers. She was stunned to discover that using the Chris to destroy evil was purifying her soul, and that if she continued to do so, she could free herself from the Netherrealm. Ashrah senses that her final absolution is near. Once achieved, she will finally enter the light. Another amazing bio from a very, very interesting character. And like I said, with her too, she's also from the 3D era, and I'm not really familiar with her. But I've seen some images of her, and she appears very human with, you know, her iconic hat. But in this, we see that she has these scars. Now, my guess is that her scars are sort of representative of her journey into becoming, you know, into purging her demon spirit. So I'm guessing maybe by the end of the story, she's going to have, you know, full human features, and her eyes are going to appear, normal or human-like. One other thing too I find very interesting is, her outfit. It has this very angelic look. And in her fatality that we saw in her trailer, we noticed that in her fatality, she sprouts angel wings. So one thing I'm guessing is that throughout this journey of slaying demons and, turning to the light, as is said in her bio, she's going to become an angel, not a human like was suggested in the 3D era games, but an angel. And that is, I think, a part of the world of Mortal Kombat that hasn't really been dealt with. I think we've seen the demon side of it with characters like Sareena and Ashrah, but we've not seen the angelic side of it. So she might become angelic, and for all you know, we might meet some angels that exist in this realm or in this world, in this new era. So that I also find really, really interesting. And in her gameplay, another interesting part was during certain strings, or I don't know what it is, but it seemed like a power-up of sorts. The Chris went from light to dark. And I think that's interesting because it's going to, offer some duality with her gameplay, where maybe you might be able to enter a stance or activate some special move like Johnny Cage's, star thing that we saw from the combat cast, where her demon side, or what's left of her demon side, comes out, and it might have some effect on her gameplay. And I think that is absolutely interesting. And it also might, depict some dynamic in her character where she's struggling. Even though she's trying to transition into the light, let go of her demon side, there is a bit of an internal struggle over there. And also, from what we've seen over here, her sisters resent her now. I think maybe Sareena might be her sister in this timeline. So in the story mode, we might see, a little bit of tension between them. Now, from what I have learned, Sareena, she's sort of a hero in the old games. So in this game, I'm thinking she might start off like a demon. She might be pursuing Ashrah, but she too might go onto her, her own hero's journey, and she might become a hero at the end of it. She's only a cameo in this game for now, but from some leaks that we've seen, it seems she might be a full-fledged character in Combat Pack 2. So I'm also looking forward to that. Now, all these characters, they are looking very interesting. I like what's going on with them. I like everything. I like their stories. Every character seems to have some sort of depth to them. No character is being, treated as canon fodder, where they are just tossed around just for our heroes to beat the shit out of. And I like that. It will make the story very interesting. Now, with Ashrah and with Smoke and I think Giras, it was announced recently that is tonight, or whenever this video is, there will be a combat cast out. And in this combat cast, we'll see more of her gameplay. So one thing I'm interested in seeing is, this duality of this light and dark magic that she possesses. I want to see how that is integrated into her gameplay. And who knows, they might reveal some new cameos whom we haven't seen, or even ones that we've seen whose gameplay we haven't seen. So I'm looking forward to that. That will be all, guys. If you've made it to this point of the video, I appreciate you. Leave a like, subscribe for more videos. I'll be covering every news that is released by NetherRealm Studios about Mortal Kombat 1 until the release date. I'll be also releasing some Combat League videos from MK11, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you, and have a nice week.